Oh boy, I do not remember this episode at all. Does it start with like Yeah, I think it does start with Calumon. Oh, okay, yeah, this weird like I basically have an effing lantern. So yeah, like
Oh yeah, yeah. They throw him into a pit.
yeah. So yeah, this is like Digimon Tamers episode 34. Title is called Leomon is super alive, guys, everything is fine.
Yeah, nothing bad ever happens to Leomon.
Yeah, just straight up like, episode 34, nothing bad happens to Leomon. So this episode, effing like, everyone is getting together, because I'm trying to remember exactly how I get back together, because I really should have rewatched these. This is gonna be a mess.
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing is I've got the episode running, of course.
Yeah.
Um, they throw Calumon into the little prison, and it's worth noting that he's looking in the reflection of the glass, and all he sees is like the spinning triangle thing pyramid
Yeah.
that's on his head.
Yeah, that's weird.
And then there's a little segment where he's like, "I'm a Digimon. It must have attacks, right?"
Yeah, and it turns out he probably really doesn't.
Probably does not. Although
Yeah,
I think I looked it up at some point. He has something, but I don't think it's an offensive skill.
I know he has like a move that evolves Digimon, if nothing else.
Yeah, of course.
Let's look up real quick. Shouldn't take 2 seconds.
Let's. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shining Digivolution does what you think. Something called
Giga
Gigapower, which
Power
has no. Gigapower has no.
is no description. Yeah, and Kurmon Prayer, which is Kulumon. No, we're alright. So Kulumon Prayer because Japanese. Stores stats and raises all
Oh, are you
resistance
there?
with prayer. Okay, so yeah. He has a healing move and an evolution move.
Whoa.
Wait, what? Did the
Are
stream
you
just tank
are
for
you
a
connected
second?
through wire? Is I don't know about the stream, but for me, you cut out and then it like rapidly went through whatever everything you said to catch up.
Oh, that's weird. It's probably because I went to like that wiki site. Those are like terrible. Like they
Oh,
always lag things up so much because they try to play like a million videos at once for stupid reasons, and I hate it.
do you not have ad block?
Uh, I think I do, but it just doesn't stop their videos.
Hmm.
Because they always have, like, the whole video of, like, oh, hey, this is what the Digimon is, and it's set to autoplay, so you can't stop it from using data. And
Yeah.
there's, like, stuff off to the side about, like, oh, like, different whatever did it did, and it's like, I don't need to know about this, thank you very much. I
Hmm.
just want to look up some text for a second.
Okay. Well, yeah, you probably said everything I was saying, which is just
Yeah.
Calumon has a bunch of supportive stuff, and of course the evolution thing.
Yeah, he can, like, heal status ailments and, like, evolve things mainly. And one move that may be an attack, but might also just be an attack boost for someone.
Yeah, it's just called Giga Power, and there's no explanation.
Yeah. I imagine Calumon's not using Giga Power in the anime.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So after the sceneries in the little bubble, we cut to the rest of
Yeah.
the team.
I want to point out it's specifically shaped like a lantern, I think. Because he's like the light of evolution, right?
Yeah, that would make sense.
So it's like, oh, they have a lantern to keep the light in, and he, like, freaks out, and it makes, like, a beam of light come out, and it just travels along the thing and gets to different people.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of evolution, when did Guillemon evolve and how?
When did into which form? Like into like Mega?
Growlmon.
Yeah, I think it was
They,
like
they, they cut to the Kenta and Kazu riding on his head, and he's Growlmon.
I know.
The previous episode, he was still Guillemon.
Was he? Oh right,
Yeah.
he was.
How did
Oh.
he? How did he become Growlmon without Takato?
That's a really good question. That's super weird. Like, I guess it doesn't matter, but yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, and nobody mentions it. Nobody acknowledges the fact that he's Growlmon for no reason.
I guess he just, like, managed to do it. But yeah, like, meanwhile, I'm trying to remember exactly the order things going, because, like, first, like, Henry and Takao are trying to get across the bridge to the land of the Devas, I think.
Well, no, we cut from Calumon and the light bulb to them walking in the desert.
Well, I mean, like, first after that.
Ah,
It's like
yeah,
they're
it's
trying to get across to that area, and then it's like Lotmon's like, "Oh hey, no, you can't do that. Don't go, or the Devas are going to kill you." And Beelzemon has a quick fight with Rapidmon where he just crushes him. And then, like, Gilmon hears Takao's voice and, like, one of the light beams coming from the real world sphere. So they just go through the beam of light and it teleports them to where the others are. I believe that's the order of events, right?
pretty
That,
much. Also, Lotmon knows where Calumon is.
yeah. Uh, why did I call
there's a
it
voice.
Leo? Oh, right, yeah.
There's a voice that tells Calumon that he should return to his original shape as the light of evolution.
Right, I forgot about this little moment until I saw, like, it was in the images. Where it's like, I saw a random image called Leo Poochie.
You're so strong
Whereas,
and kind, Leo.
because Leomon's just like, yo, like, oh yeah, like, yo, you have to, like, trust fate and stuff, and everyone's like, oh man, Leomon, you're so great, aren't you? And, like, I think Graumon's like, man, how did you get so strong and awesome, Leomon? He's like, oh, I fought a bunch of dudes. And Graumon's like, oh, maybe I should do that too. And Leomon's like, no, you've got your own path determined by fate. You have your own way to do things.
Leomon's not a poochie.
It's like, he's not, but it's just kind of hilarious that there's this whole scene of like, oh man, Leomon's so cool and smart and awesome, isn't he, guys? And everyone's like, yup, oh man, Leomon sure is great. And it's like, pretty much like 5 minutes later, we all kind of know what's gonna go down.
Yeah. Yeah. Leomon's not a poochie. He is a walking lion stereotype. Where it's like any person that's compared to a lion or is a lion. It's like they're strong and noble and like strong. I said strong already, and like brave
He's
and whatnot.
strong and noble and strong, and he has muscles.
Yeah. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, except for like the one time where there was a cowardly lion in The Wizard of Oz. But hey,
Yeah, in The Wizard of Oz, what?
the cowardly lion.
Yeah, because I feel like if we're just looking through all media, there's been a few times that lions have not been that, like, brave or noble. Because, like, no, Scar also wasn't that noble of a lion.
Yeah, of course there's exceptions to the rule, but in most cases, like that's how lion characters are portrayed.
I'm just thinking of effing like Claw from Kimba and how he has a weird thing where like he's trying to steal Leo's girlfriend even though she's like a cub. And just how weird and like awkward that entire plot point is.
Yeah, but nobody knows anything about Kimba.
Nobody cares about Kimba.
Nobody cares about Kimba.
I care about Kimba.
I watched that video about that dude who like compared it to Lion King and everything, and I don't actually care all that much. I just needed something to listen to while I did laundry.
The video from Your Movie Sucks or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, hey, it's in my recommendations, I might as well.
Why not, right? Like, I feel like if you watch through just all of Kimba just to make a video on it, then, like, you kind of deserve it. It's like, yo, yeah, couple hours, yeah, that's the least we could do. That seems fair. Like, guy destroyed part of his soul to, like, make this point. It's, yeah, might as well hear him out.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, just meanwhile, like, oh hey, Beelzemon's just here now. Yeah, he just shows up, like, guns drawn, like, alright, time to kill some kids. And they're like, hey, yo, like, maybe you shouldn't, like, try to do this, Beelzemon. There's other ways. We know who you used to be. And he's like, yeah, but, a deal's a deal, No hard feelings.
Nope, y'all gotta die.
Yeah, which, fair enough, I guess. He'd make a deal. Can't exactly, like, pull out now, really.
Yeah. And hey, I like Beelzemon. Like, he's my favorite Digimon, but right now, he's a big old scumbag.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, right now, Beelzemon's literally like, oh yeah, let's shoot some kids.
Kill them kids. Eat,
So, like,
eat their Digimon.
Yeah. So if I remember right, it's like, Rapidmon fights him for a bit, and he takes him out pretty immediately. Like, just downs him, basically.
Somebody takes out his guns. I don't remember if it was Rapidmon, though.
I know he loses his guns eventually over, like, the course of his fight, but, like, there is a moment where, like, yeah, because I think Cubimon's there, isn't she, or something?
Okay, so Rapidmon fights Beelzemon before the rest show up.
Yeah, I think it's like first Rapidmon fights him, and then Leomon fights him. Cause like Beelzemon's gonna kill Rapidmon, and Leomon just walks up and just punches him in the face.
Yeah. By the way, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but boy did I not give Gardramon enough credit.
Gardramon? Yeah. Man, Gardramon gets his moment. Holy crap. There's so much stuff that goes down over these 3 episodes, because, like, I should probably just upload all 3 of these as, like, the same video, because, like, this is all just one big fight,
Pretty much. Okay, Takato tries to appeal to Beelzemon. Beelzemon's good side.
Yeah, Takato appears and he's like, hey, no, stop it, you don't have to do this.
Yeah. And then Takato's still
like...
going...
Sorry.
Takato's still going through his stupid Guillamon's just data thing.
Yeah, which... honestly, not the best. Like, I get what they're kind of trying to go for, because it's like, oh, there's Yo. He has this doubt about how much, like, Guillamon actually, like, is valued or whatever. He's like, oh, Guilllamon's, not special. He's just, like, he's just data. He's, like, replaceable or whatever. And it's like, I get the idea of, like, trying to give him an arc to make the evolution seem more important, but boy, is this not one that, like, works out that well.
Yeah, it was kind of unneeded.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of a shame because like everything else about like this entire like arc going on is like just so good. Like I think you'll like realize just going through this like I did get that many images for these episodes because I kept having to consciously like stop and be like, "Oh yeah, like I need to stop watching to actually get more stuff in for the podcast."
Yeah.
I
Okay.
need to actually take a moment to like take a picture for visual aid.
Yeah. Okay, so it's Cubimon who makes him drop his guns. She like fires. She does her fire wheel thing at his arms.
Yeah, like yeah, I think she does make him drop his guns, and she like attacks his arm and like destroys one of his arm bracers or something.
Uh,
I believe that's what happens. It goes by really quickly, but it seems like she destroys one of his arm guards or like rips it off of him. And he's like, "Ah, oh, you'll pay for that." And he's like going in to kill Cubimon. And right, I think that's when Leomon does his thing, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, okay, yeah, he wasn't trying to save Rapidmon, he was trying to save Cubimon. So Leomon just like basically grabs like a thing Beelzemon's arm before he can do his attack. And he's like, "No, chill out." And he punches the dude out, and it's rad.
Oh, hold on. Okay, no, Growlmon goes in to try to fight him, and Beelzemon just punches him in the face.
Yeah. We're getting the order of this all confused, but I think the
Yeah.
point's like pretty clear right now.
Also, Takado's already kind of showing like going all like angry tie on him.
Yeah. Takao's just straight up like, "No, like, yo, come on, just like beat him, Growlmon, yo. We have to like take this guy out. Just don't worry about it. Just keep fighting." It's like, this leads to a situation where like, just surprise of effing surprises. Holy crap. Effing Leomon. Oh no!
Leomon's Leomon's huge.
Yeah, Leomon's gigantic, man.
Like I kind of didn't realize it until the part where Leomon walks over and grabs Beelzemon by the arm, and his hand like is wrapping around his entire arm. And it's like, holy crap!
Yeah, like, Leomon is like 8 foot tall or some crap and just jacked. It's like, this is the beefiest lion man you're ever gonna see.
Yeah.
I think
And
even
Leomon,
like Bancho Leomon feels less beefy than this.
maybe. Also, champion level Leomon punches Beelzemon in the face and he flinches.
Yeah, he like actually does some damage, seemingly.
Leomon is like, it's no wonder he was able to take down that the rat.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
give me a sec. I'm gonna close my window real quick.
okay. Oh, right, the actual windows and not like the chat or whatever. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Alright. But yeah, like, so I've like tiled this picture dead Leomon. And I feel like it's only fair that we get some dead Leomons up in the chat.
If anyone's there.
I'll put mine up. There we go. Because boy does Leomon not deserve what he gets.
Oh, he sure doesn't. Leomon's trying to reason with Beelzemon and be like, "You're being used by somebody. This is not a good path for you." And Beelzemon's basically like, "Shut up," and stabs him through the chest.
Yeah, so like, it's interesting because like, Hador's like, there's parts of like Takao's arc that kind of do make a lot of sense. Because it's like, there is a parallel to be had here in the difference between like how he reacts to this and how Jerry reacts. Where like Takao's like, "Oh yeah, like, yo, Digimon or Data, like, I just need to make my Data fight harder. And Jerry's like, no, Digimon are living things. Like, this is terrible. Oh my god, Leomon is dead. This is horrible. And that cap just keeps getting pushed more and more as this arc goes on.
Yeah. So, something I just remember from the dub is that I think Leomon had more to say as he was dying. Like he says something like, Jerry, you have a lion's heart or something. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. They try to give this big thing to make the emotional moment even like more emotional.
Yeah, I'm not too into that, honestly. Because it's
And
like,
and and this one, Leomon's just like, I guess this is my fate as he fades away.
yeah, which, I don't know, it does make a bit more sense for, like, him to be like, oh, Jerry, you're, like, courageous or whatever, I guess. I don't know.
Or like I think he's saying like she's strong, she'll make it through this or whatever. Which honestly, I think I'm more okay with because it seems kind of weird that Leomon doesn't have anything to say to her specifically as he's
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty true. Because, like, that's kind of his arc, right? They, like, start out, like, kind of detesting her a bit and became her partner.
Yeah,
So he's
I
just
don't
like,
think he. I don't think he ever detested her.
yeah, not like actually like hid, but more like, he like didn't want anything to do with this, and now he's like involved basically.
Yeah, because Jerry kind of weirded him out.
Yeah. Oh boy, did she. But yeah, and now we're like, oh jeez.
Yeah. So I feel like uh Takato didn't need a whole thing where he's like, oh, Digimon are just data, and that like corrupts his thoughts on like his Digimon, and it's like, oh, that's why like Groundmon turns into this horrible thing. Uh, like I don't think that was needed.
Yeah,
It
I
like
feel like this would be enough of a push, just like, oh, my friend is dead, and he has to like deal with that, right?
Yeah, it's just the evolution to Megidramon could just be Takato is so hurt and like full of anger and rage that it triggers a dark evolution. Kind of
Yeah.
like how Tai's like aggressive anger at Agumon not being able to evolve triggered Skull Greymon.
Yeah. It's like it's it's interesting because like I feel like weirdly the Thai episode was better handled in a weird way because as goofy and like honestly stupid as parts of it were, like that did thematically make more sense because it's like, oh, like Ty's like trying to force an evolution, and like, Greymon loses the fight because he's like too full because Ty was trying to force an evolution, so it kind of like, comes full circle.
Yeah,
Because it's like, oh, you get your evolution but it doesn't work out, and then it's like, lessons are learned basically.
yeah. It is kind of. I don't want to say too much, but there is a weird moment in 2020 where an evolution is said to be triggered by like sadness and like anger, but it's not a bad evolution, and it's really weird.
Yeah, the only thing I think of when I hear that is that, like, they're
It's not who
basically.
it's not going to be who you think.
Yeah, like, where my mind goes with that is that it's like they're trying to basically, like, call back to Super Saiyan, right? Because that's a whole thing where it's like, oh, Super Saiyan, you have to have a pure heart, but you're like, you're overcome with, like, sadness and rage and stuff, and that, like, breaks you and lets it happen.
Yeah,
Except it's like Super Saiyan was kind of first meant to be like, oh, Goku's like, he's become cold and distant and serious and stuff, and oh, he might actually kill someone. And
yeah.
they just kind of forgot about that.
In a lot of cases, when a character has like a power up that's fueled by negative emotions, it's like, oh, this is supposed to be a really bad thing. But if it's super cool, I'm really into it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, it's such a bad thing, and I'm like, yeah, kill him!
Man, this just reminds me. Like, I feel like you probably had this, but it's like a dumb, like, image that was flowing around that someone made. It was like, yeah, actually, I probably should talk about it because it's a big Attack on Titan spoilers. But it's like, oh, this is why this guy's the best character ever. And it's like, kills babies, and, isn't afraid to, like, harm their enemies. And, like, shows pictures of, like, Josuke and, like, like effing Naruto or whatever for like comparison. And it's like, oh, they don't have big speeches about friendship. It's like Natsu and like Luffy. To be like, oh, look at these losers who care about their friends. Look how awesome this guy is instead.
I mean, Naruto's powers for a while were totally fueled by a hate-filled demon. I don't know what that's about.
They're just like, oh, like, they're actually smart and they use tactics. And it, like, shows Gon and, like, Goku. And it's like, screw off. Man, just goes down the list and you look at like all of their points and it's like, oh, so you want your favorite character to be a psychopathic, like, insane, like, person, then I guess.
Yeah. And it's kind of stupid when people are like, oh yeah, Goku's an idiot and he can't, like, strategize at all. And meanwhile, the warped Kamehameha is one of the coolest moments Goku's ever had.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, he's gonna shoot the planet and destroy it, and Cell's like, yeah, do it. And then Goku just teleports in front of his face. He's like, nah.
Yeah, it feels more like Goku's just been flanderized a bit over the years, where it's like, he's kind of gone dumber over time, like, especially in Super. Because it's like, Goku doesn't know what kissing is. But then you go back to the fight with Frieza, and he's like, teleporting underwater, and he's like, like, sending out, like, remote ki blasts to, like, fly up at different locations to, like, confuse him so he can get a head off and stuff. And he's, like, doing all these crazy, goofy tactics so he can, like, just get any advantage he can before he goes for the spirit bomb.
Yeah, that's another thing. Goku manages to pull off a sneak attack spirit bomb, which is like one of his, which is like his most noticeable attack he could possibly do.
Yeah, like Frieza Saga Goku, and even kind of like Saiyan Saga Goku, like actually got crap done.
Yeah,
because like
even then, Goku's like, okay, we can't beat this guy, so just kill me with him. I'll be back. Just wish me back later.
Yeah, like his smartest moment when he does the full Nelson, and he's like, yeah, I'm right for this. Let's go.
Piccolo, just kill us both. I'll be back later.
Just like, yeah, I'd keep this guy busy for 5 minutes. I'm not gonna be punching him though. I'm just gonna like grab this guy by the tail, let go of him, and give him a wrestling move.
There is kind of a dumb part where I think Raditz appeals to him, appeals to his kind nature, and he's like, please let me go, and Goku's like, okay. And then Raditz starts beating him up.
Yeah. Because Goku grabs his tail and he's like, oh no, I can't move. Please, I'll leave and never hurt you again. And he's like, alright, I believe you.
Yeah. And that is kind of Goku being dumb, but it's also like, yeah, Goku's like a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's trusting.
Yeah, and Raditz hasn't done anything irredeemable yet, so it's like, Goku's like, all right, I'll give you a chance, and the Raditz attacks him, and he's like, all right, never mind.
Yeah, I guess you gotta go then. Are we just gonna like turn this podcast into like a big like talk on like the nature of heroism in anime?
I mean, it started as a conversation about like like anger fueled or like dark emotion fueled transformations.
Yeah. And it's like, that's the thing, because it's like, I feel like this is something that people kind of miss, because it's like, oh, like, anger and, like, violence are, like, so much stronger or whatever, but it's like, heroism isn't a weakness, necessarily. It's like, oh, you actually, like, care for people. That means that people are gonna, like, actually trust you and be on your side.
Yeah. But yeah, this started off as me being like, oh yeah, those transformations are cool. It's like Mob in Mob Psycho 100. It's like, oh, it's supposed to be a bad thing when he goes 100% because it's like, oh man, his emotions are exploding and like he can't control it and it's really bad. But it's like, oh man, it's so cool.
Don't
Like,
they also have, like, 100% where he triggers other emotions or whatever, and it also works?
yeah, I think it triggers and like does different things depending on what emotion triggered it.
Yeah.
And then there's the moments where he gets knocked unconscious and goes into question mark percent, and it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Because there's that I forget what the blonde haired guy is who what his name is, but he shows up. He's like, I'm better because I have psychic powers. I'm better than everyone. And
Tetsu, I think?
maybe, but he's just beating Mob up and launching him through like a school building or something, and then he knocks him out, and Mob just goes unconscious, and then beats him mercilessly
Man,
for a little bit.
that's such a good moment, because that entire scene is just, he's like, hey, fight back, and Mom just refuses to, and he's just choking him out, and it's like, oh, is he gonna get to 100%? Like, is he going to, like, do something to, like, turn the tides? And he just passes out, and he just, like, has to walk away defeated, just like, well, I guess this wasn't satisfying for anyone. This is just, like, a terrible experience for everyone involved. And like
Yeah.
after that moment passes, then you get question mark percent. And it's like, oh, we're not done yet.
Yeah, it's the now you messed up moment.
Yeah. It's like he
It's like
learns his
if,
lesson.
it's like if Saitama had like a rage, had like a berserk state. God help everyone if that ever happened.
Man. I do, like, speaking of that, I do want to quickly give a quick shout out to Berserk. Because it does have this type of, like, gimmick where it's like, oh, Guts has, like, the Berserker armor, and it's, like, triggered by rage and stuff. So it's like, oh, he loses control and he just becomes way stronger. But then they also have to, like, find a way around it so it can actually use that power as this weird convoluted, like, system they come up with, where it's like, he can basically do the stuff, but to show that he's, like, not out of control, it turns from this crazy, awesome wolf head helmet that's, like, distorting his head and stuff, to, like, just being, like, a normal helmet with, like, one eye open. And it's like, boy, does this look way lamer. Boy, do I not care for this design at all. I'm glad Guts isn't just murdering everyone's sight, but boy, is this less interesting. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there. Yeah. Anyways, effing Megidramon, though. You there, Lucky?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just yeah, I'm here.
Alright. So yeah, like, Guillemon just, like, finally manages to evolve into Megidramon. Because he, like, finally goes Mega. And, like, immediately Takado's just like, oh god, this isn't what I wanted.
Also, when it triggers whenever it triggers, it cuts to Calumon, like, releasing the light for the evolution, and Calumon's like, no!
Yeah. Even
Like, even
Calumon's like,
Calumon,
oh, this is not
yeah,
good.
even Calumon just like, oh, there's something wrong with this.
That's interesting, though, because that implies that Calumon can't control it. Or at least they can't control it while he's, like, sealed away like that, you know?
Yeah. I don't think he can control it. It's just if something needs to evolve, then
Yeah, it just
Calumon
kind of
shoots out the beam.
happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, because, like,
Also, I've talked up in the past. I've talked up like, oh man, Megidramon's so like dangerous and powerful that it threatens the existence of the digital world in its entirety. Uh, but then in this version, like the original dialogue is like, yeah, it's a danger to the real world too.
yeah. That's weird because you think about it, it's like, oh, its existence as a threat to the digital world, and that kind of undersells it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't. I don't know if that was written into the dub, but in the original dialogue, it's like, oh man, there's something crazy going on in the digital world, and it's having an effect here too.
Yeah. So yeah, like I feel like this is probably where they're trying to go with the whole like, oh, Guilmon just gets like bigger and like, meaner looking or whatever. And they're trying to make it feel like, oh man, I don't want my Digimon to be ugly though or something. And now it's like here we are, this cause like this
Yeah,
is yeah.
Megidramon is like the ultimate realization of like Takado's worst fears.
Good way to put it actually.
It's like everything he was worried about. It's like, oh, he gets bigger and stronger and scarier. I don't want that. And then this is like the biggest, scariest, like meanest Digimon they've seen so far.
Yeah, like arguably worse than Beelzemon in a sense. Because
Like,
Beelzemon's a killer, but at least, he has reason behind him.
yeah.
Megidramon just attacks indiscriminately.
Well,
Like,
part of what I'm talking about is like mostly just his design.
oh
Like
yeah.
he like Megidramon has like it looks like he has two mouths, and like one of them is like always drooling, and he's got torn up wings, and like Megidramon is it looks really, really like brutal.
Yeah, like, you can't see it from the edge, but he's got, like, effing skeletal, like, rib images on, like, his sides. Like, he's a weird undead dragon thing, and it's like, dang. And, like, I think it's around this time where it's like Megidramon's symbol on his chest just starts flashing. And it's like, oh, the digital world is just actually falling apart now. He's actually just destroying the planet by existing.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I think that's like a line from the dub specifically, but yeah, it's like everything is in danger just because Megidramon exists.
Yeah, like, so that's why he has the big biohazard sign, because it's like, oh, this thing's power isn't, like, directly addressed at an opponent. It just goes off in all directions like crazy and just corrodes existence itself.
Yeah.
Which is,
Also, Takado's Digivice like shatters.
yeah, that's also a crazy thing that happens. Because, like, as soon as Megidramon
Like
appears, it's like, oh,
Leomon died, and
Takado,
then Jerry's.
Sorry, what are you saying?
Yeah, you were just cutting out, so I didn't know I was talking over you. Yeah, Jerry's Digivice after Leomon's death just kind of like goes into static. Like the screen turns into static, but the Digivice stays intact. Uh, Mega Metal War Growlmon. That's it. War
Yeah.
Growlmon turns into Megidramon, and Takado's Digivice just shatters.
Yeah, it's like, oh, like, you let this thing exist, you are no longer worthy of being a tamer, basically.
Yeah,
Like, you
really, really
screwed
messed
up. But yeah, so this is like episode 35, I think, now.
Yeah,
Because, yeah, Megidron just comes out and he just starts, like, just specifically going after Beelzemon with the intent to kill. And Beelzemon's like freaking out, and he's like, oh crap, I know how to deal with this.
We do cut to the real world for a moment where Henry's parents are talking, and his mother's like, where's our daughter? Is she really in Hong Kong with your parents or whatever? And it's like, and he's just like, I'm sorry, and then he leaves. And it's like, oh man, he should have probably just told her.
But yeah, so like, effing. Just.
And then Megidramon fights Beelzemon.
Yeah. And he's basically like coiling around him, and Beelzemon has the weird laugh like, oh, this thing was created just to eat me.
Yeah, this thing wants me dead super hard.
He like literally exists just to murder me and then destroy everything else. So it's like, it's this weird thing, because for a moment you can kind of make the argument that it's like, oh, Beelzemon's the hero, I guess. Because holy shit.
Yeah. Also, Megidramon drools acid. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Just in case it wasn't, like, threatening and evil enough already.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just starts, like, attacking Beelzemon. And Beelzemon's like, oh, jeez, I need more power to deal with this. And, like, I think it's somewhere else time that's, like, Calumon and Rapidmon are trying to attack him. And he's like, oh, perfect. And he, like, absorbs their data. No, wait, yeah, he, like... I remember what happens now, because it's, like... Sorry, I had this backwards. Because what really happens is, like, the monkey appears and he tries to put a barrier around them.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they have to, like, make duplicates to escape. But because they make duplicates, that somehow allows Beelzemon to absorb their data and become stronger.
Okay, no, what happens is Megidramon shows up and he's in like a barrier or whatever, and then Beelzemon eats him.
Right, yeah, he eats him first, and then he makes the barrier.
Yeah, apparently by loading the data of a Digimon, you gain their abilities.
Yeah, which is a weird rule we haven't seen before, but whatever, it works for the sake of the plot.
Yeah, shouldn't Beelzemon be able to fire, like, spider shooters?
Yeah, but, he has his gun, so, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to, like, specifically choose which techniques you keep and which you get rid of.
Could be, because when he does absorb the data of Rapidmon and Calumon, it's like his body starts freaking out and rejecting it, kinda.
Yeah, I believe I have an image of this in a second, so just keep talking, I'll bring that up.
And basically the way he absorbs their data without actually killing them is like they shadow clone their way out. He absorbs the data from their evolution, their evolved forms.
Yeah, which is interesting.
It's basically a shadow clone technique.
So doesn't that mean that, like, technically the kids could keep using that card and, like, absorbing each other's fake datas to get stronger?
Probably not.
No, it seems to work for Beelzemon. Because it's one of those weird things where it doesn't really make sense, but it's like, screw it works for the plot.
Beelzemon needs to get a power boost to fight off Megidramon without actually killing the other kid's Digimon.
Yeah, that's the big pull of this, basically. It's like, oh, Beelzemon gets stronger and stakes are raised. So he finally managed to, like, actually overpower Megidramon. And you see in, like, the real world, it's like, I probably skipped over this, but it's like, yeah, like, they're like, oh, it's an effect on us too, and you see, like, the biohazard symbol is just, like, appearing all over the screen in, like, Hypnos. And it's like all over the mod or just everywhere. They're just like, oh dang, we can't stop this.
Yeah, we don't know what's happening, but it's probably a result of the children's actions.
They're probably somehow involved in this. Boy, I hope things aren't going super bad right now. Yeah, so like, Beelzemon somehow manages to beat Megidramon into the ground, basically.
Well, he absorbs the power of 3 ultimates within the span of like a minute.
Yeah, it nearly destroys him, but he manages to fight it off and like break Megidramon's chest plate.
Yeah.
And he's just standing there, just like screaming, like, yeah, I did it! I finally beat him! I really am the strongest! And like, meanwhile, Takano has this big moment where he's like, oh no, but my Gallantmon though. And we get this weird effing, like...
Yeah. Jerry's like doesn't want anyone near her, especially Takato, or she's like, Gallantmon used to be so cute, look what you've done to him and whatnot. It's like, it's not great.
Yeah. And we have this I don't know what to describe this as. It's like a dream sequence of like fisheye lenses and like surrealism as Takato tries to search for his own Gallantmon among hundreds of CG Gallantmon in like a different... Because he's like, oh, but no, this is my Gallantmon's special and unique and stuff. It's like, it's such a weird visual. Like, look at this.
Yeah, it's just like all of this is in his mind or whatever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. It just feels so weird. Because he's like, he finally finds his Gallantmon and he chases after it as like all the other Gallantmons are like exploding around him. Like actually being destroyed.
Yeah, well, he calls out and he's like, no, I want my Gallantmon, not these other random Gallantmon.
And like, I'm pretty sure this is meant to be like the end of his arc where it's like, oh yeah, my Gallantmon's not just data, he's like important to me. And it's like, I don't get why they're doing this, because, like, of course he should be. And I think that's, like, my complaint with this, because it's like, this feels like a lesson Takao should have learned by now, that, like, Gallantmon's important and he's, like, you know, his friend.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of strange.
Yeah,
I think it's just a setup for what's about to happen.
I'm sure it is, but boy is strange an understatement here.
Yeah. The setup for it being Guillemon's data, but wait, I'm in the digital world. I'm data.
Yeah. So it's like, it's supposed to complete this emotional arc of like, oh, Takao goes through his low point, but then he like has a revelation, and that revelation helps him like find a true path to evolution where it can become stronger. And like, I get that much. I get what it's like going for. It's just like, the method used to get to this point is so just odd, and like, it makes so little sense. This plot line, man, holy crap.
Speaking of odd, Beelzemon fired his guns at Takato and Guillemon, or I guess he was still Megidramon at the time.
Yeah.
And he reverts to Guillemon, and the bullets are about to hit him, and Guillemon's eyes glow red for a second, and he materializes Megidramon's tail for like a second and whips the bullets away.
Yeah. Like, the bullets are traveling in slow motion, too. So it's like, you see everyone just, like, moving in slow motion. Like, characters are, like, talking and stuff as the bullets are traveling.
Yeah. It's the visual of Megidramon's tail growing out of Guillamon is just so weird.
But yeah, so it's like they find the true path of evolution. Like, I assume you watched the subversion of this, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the super problematic part of this?
Not really.
Okay, because, like, I saw something as the evolution sequence happened, and I wasn't sure, so I rewound it, and it's like, yup, there's, like, a couple frames where, like, Takao, like, basically fuses with Guillamon to become Gallantmon, and he, like, turns into this, like, weird light spirit form of himself, where he's just, like, floating as
Yeah.
a glowing naked body. And for a
Yeah, there
few
it is.
frames, yeah, you could just see his dick.
I see it. Yep.
I don't endorse it. It's super weird. I just want to
And
point out
it
it exists.
you don't see it after this point either.
It's just there for like a few frames, and I'm pretty sure the dub cut those frames out or like censored it. And they were very right to do so, because boy is this sketchy.
Also, Mega Evolution gets its own theme, and it's pretty cool.
It's pretty good. But yeah, we finally get the appearance of Gallantmon, who's Dukemon in Japan, but I'm never gonna call him Dukemon because Gallantmon's way better. Fight me.
Gallantmon sounds cooler.
It's like Dukemon probably works in Japanese where it's like a short, simple name. But like, when I think of Dukemon, I just think of Duke Nukem Forever. It's like, Duke is not a title to me, it's like a jock.
That's kind of a weird way to think about it, but I get it, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, Duke isn't like, oh, you're an aristocrat. It's like, oh, that's your friend Duke who plays football out by the school.
Yeah, no, it's Duke as in like a royal person.
I feel, that's the weird thing, because I feel like even in that context, it's like, oh, it's a Duke. And it's like, alright. But like, Duke isn't that impressive as being like, oh, they're gallant. They're like a gallant knight, because that actually has more refined implications. Because it's like, you think gallant, and it's like, oh, they're like brave and heroic and like fast and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you think Duke is like an aristocrat, and it's like, oh, they're like a medieval like owner of like vassals who like, you know, sends people out to war, I guess.
A Duke is it seems like Duke is like a step under King.
Yeah, which is also weird. Yeah, Galmon's just better in English. Just works way stronger.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I guess what it is like he's royalty, but also not like king status. So he can be like a knight. I don't know.
Yeah, because they actually do mention when he shows up that, like, oh, he's a holy knight type Digimon.
Yeah.
And they, like, draw attention to it, which is, like, you know, of course, the first, like, actual real mention of the Royal Knights.
Yeah, unless the Royal Knights are brought up in some other media before this.
I feel like we've seen, like, all the anime medium up to this point. And this is the first time it's mentioned, I believe.
Well, maybe in the anime, but they're, like, take the Wonder Swan stuff, for example. There's side stuff we probably didn't play or know about.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bet that the Royal Knights have been brought up before now. Somewhere.
As far as I'm aware, this is the first mention of, like, oh, hey, Royal Knights. Like, maybe there's, like, a card that's like, oh, attribute Holy Knight or something, but, like, yeah, like, outside of that, you know? But yeah, so Galma appears in, like, glorious, kind of rough CG, but at least he looks way better than War Growlmon.
Sure does.
Like, I think it helps a lot that he's, like, actually covered in metal, so it's not as jarring to see really waxy, like, super shiny, like, skin texture on something.
Yeah, the fact that he's covered in armor makes it look more natural.
So, like, also, yeah, that's another thing I should probably mention. That's like, so we mentioned how the evolution sequence worked, where it's like, oh, you see Takao literally like merge with Guilmon. I have a
Yeah.
feeling when this episode was being scripted, they did not have that sequence in mind. Because this leads to a weird situation where, like, Takao just disappears and there's Gallantmon there in the place of Guilmon, and everyone's like, what the crap happened to Takado? Where is he? And it's played up like it's meant to be this big mystery for the entirety of the next episode.
Right. I don't know. I think it's just meant to be a mystery to the kids.
Yeah, I
Also,
get the impression that, like, whoever is director of, like, animating the evolution sequences just didn't get the memo that, like, oh, you're supposed to hide that this is a fusion or whatever, and they just did their thing.
well, keep in mind we know it's a fusion because of like other like just prior knowledge.
I mean, even without that, we know it's a fusion from the animations, what I'm saying. Because, like, the animation literally shows Takado going into Guilmon, and then, like, Gallantmon appears.
He doesn't go into him. He just kind of floats next to him.
Yeah, that's still a pretty big implication. Because, like, it feels like there's no ambiguity in that, you know? Like, maybe you could, like, have, like, ambiguity or, like, oh, who's in control or whatever, but, like, yeah, it seems pretty clear. It's like, oh, Takao merged with Guilmon for this fusion.
But again, you have the context of like knowing that already.
I, I,
I'm watching the evolution sequence right now, and I can see where people might not get that like he fused with him.
I genuinely can't imagine you'd look at that and be like, oh, where did Takado go? What happened? Because, like, it seems pretty straightforward. It's like, oh, Takao just, like, becomes naked for a bit and then warps into Guilmon, just floats above him, and you go through all the Guilmon forms and you get to Gallantmon.
But you can't know for sure because
Well, you never know anything for sure. That's like, a philosophical statement.
what I'm saying is you already know that that's what's happened. Then you've known for years, and you just like so you're biased and think your way of thinking is biased towards that.
I mean, like, I feel like even if I wasn't, that would still be pretty clear cut. And I at least don't remember as a kid watching this next episode and being like, oh, where's Takado? What happened? Like, I remember seeing it and being like, oh, alright, yeah, that's what's going on. That's cool. And also being very confused at, like, why he became naked for a bit.
That is still weird.
Oh, yeah, it sure is.
Doesn't really seem necessary.
Yeah. Oh, it's super unnecessary. So yeah, this is episode 36 now.
Yeah. Gallantmon's like, you sold your soul to the devil and became one yourself. I can never forgive you.
Yeah.
Beelzemon, like, you're saying my existence is unforgivable. You say that crap after you've killed me.
Yeah. But yeah, this is where they get to the actual fight, and it's a pretty good fight.
I appreciate that it's not like Guilmon turned into Gallantmon and then he just stomps Beelzemon into the dirt. It's like it's a pretty back and forth fight.
I feel like it's very fair to say that this is the Digimon equivalent of the Frieza saga, like, right now. Like, this is our Goku versus Frieza battle at the moment. Like,
Sure.
this is the one where it's like, oh, they're like all this back and forth, and it's like, oh, you'll never kill me, and there's like all these cheap tricks being played and stuff. And like, like the hero has to like go out of his way to like protect his friends as the bad guy keeps getting stronger, basically.
Yeah. Cutting ahead a little bit to a moment later, Gallantmon says something like the bullets of the wicked could never touch me or something. And then he gets shot by Beelzemon not too long after. And it's like, ah, come on.
Yeah, great line.
That should have they should have saved that line for the moment in the fight where Gallantmon wasn't going to get hit anymore.
Yeah. Like, great line, but it's like, kind of like, because even Beelzemon afterwards, like, hey, what's going on? You said my bullets would never hit you, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, Gallantmon's fighting Beelzemon, and they have this big battle where, like, they're like, they're getting shot at, and they're like fighting each other and stuff. Gallantmon has to, like, keep jumping in the way of his friends to, like, protect them and everything. Like, Jerry's still freaking out. It's like, Gallantmon's like going forward with his big lance and doing big attacks and stuff. He's like doing his big lightning stab thing where he shoots lightning out of his like lance.
Yeah.
And like you get the big moment where like Beelzemon just gets on his motorcycle and he's like, oh, he's too fast to hit. And he's like just riding around shooting him in like a circle. And he's like, he's like a blur, I can't get him.
Yeah. By the way, it's funny you should mention that this is like a Goku versus Frieza thing, because Leomon / all of his evolutions is voiced by Masako Nozawa, who is Goku.
Yeah. There's like a point where like, I guess the armor on Gallantmon's back is not as strong as it is on the front. Cause like, there's a point where I think like Beelzemon starts attacking Kazu or Jerry one. I forget which it is. I think it might be Kazu. And like Gallantmon has to buckle over to like shield him from the bullets, and they're actually hurting him more.
Speaking of which, that is kind of something that annoys me a lot about this fight. And it's that when Gallantmon goes to defend somebody from the bullets, he doesn't take a shield and use it to block them. He just takes it to the back or something.
Yeah.
It's like, Gallantmon, you have a shield.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's like he wants to be sure, right?
He has a shield!
But yeah, like, it's supposed to be like, oh, he's getting so hurt in this fight, though. Oh my gosh. It's like, that's another thing. It's like the bullets feel very inconsistent, too. Because, like, there's a point later on where Gallantmon's just walking towards Beelzemon, and the gunfire is just bouncing off of him, no problem.
Yeah. Also, there's a good moment right after the line where he's like, bullets fired by someone who sold their soul to the devil could never hit me. Like, immediately after that, he rushes Beelzemon, who's shooting at him, and he puts up his shield to block the bullets.
Yeah. Yeah, point is, he saves Kazu, and Kazu's like, wait a minute, Takano, what? And he, like, finally explains, like, oh, hey, that Takano's somehow fused with Guilmon, and everyone's like, what the fuck? Does this make him a Scaly?
Yeah, it's Kenta. Kenta's the one who realizes.
Okay,
Kazu's the one who has Guardramon.
That makes way more sense. Because, like, Kazu does get his moment where he's like, no, Guardramon, don't, like, don't interfere, you'll just get killed. I don't want you to end up like Leomon. And, like, Jerry just cries in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole time throughout these episodes, Jerry is just absolutely destroyed.
Yeah. Man, it gets to a point where it's like, Beelzemon's... I think he gets Gallantmon downed or something, if I remember right. And he's gonna, like, shoot him. And Gardramon, like, shoots his, like, goofy police rocket at him. And, like, distracts Beelzemon for a moment so Gallantmon can get back up and get the upper hand.
Yeah. I think earlier I said something like, "Oh yeah, Gardramon's never gonna have a moment again," but I was wrong. I forgot.
He gets a moment.
Yeah, maybe he gets more later. I don't know, but yeah. Gardramon literally saves Calumon and Takado's life.
Yeah, that's pretty good actually.
Also, Chetzeramon shows up to try to kill Lopmon, and Terriermon takes a mega attack
Wait, no, he's not mega, he's an ultimate.
The face and survives it.
Yeah.
Like, Chetzeramon turned into, like, a hammer to swing himself at Lopmon, and Terriermon jumps in the way and takes it for Lopmon. And then there's a scene where Gallantmon walks through the fire with his cape and throws it on. It's cool.
Gallantmon's so... Man, knights are so cool. You okay, man? You need some water or something?
I have water. There's like a...
Is the water the problem?
No. There's like a tickle in the back of my throat that won't go away.
Ah, dang. Alright, are we good?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright. Man, knights are so cool. No wonder Digimon has like 1 million of them.
Yeah, there's a reason why the Royal Knights are like a big force in a lot of Digimon media.
Yeah, every single Digimon's dream is to evolve up into a crazy monster ultimate, and then somehow turn into a knight. With guns.
Oh. There's also kind of a ridiculous scene where Henry's yelling at Suzy about Leomon being a Deva, despite the fact that Leomon's clearly not on their side anymore.
Yeah. Because he, like, yells at her, like, hey, get away from him, you'll become a target, and she's like, but you and Terriermon are in danger too, and he's like, damn it, she's right. How do I protect her?
Suzy just kind of shakily raises her hand with her Digivice, and it's like, but we're partners.
Yeah. Which, fair enough. At least Suzy's got the right mindset for this. Like, Suzy probably understands what it means to be a tamer way more than Kazu does.
Yeah.
Man, I really hope that Leomon gets an evolution at some point, just at any point. Because it would kind of suck if, like, the one person who's got this crap together doesn't get to do it.
I'm gonna try and break it to you easy now. I'm pretty sure Leomon never evolves again.
Man, that's kind of a shame.
Yeah. I guess you could just chalk it up to Suzy being an inexperienced tamer, but...
Yeah. Yeah, point is, just pull up all this, like, crazy fighting, and, like, it's weird, right? Because, like, this is, like, the moment, isn't it? Like, this is the big takeaway of Tamers that everyone remembers super fondly. And it's like, I can see why, because, like, it's flawed, but it's pretty good. This
is like the climax of the second arc.
Yeah. Because, like, this is the iconic thing of, like, oh, Gallantmon's, like, fighting Beelzemon and, like, do his big hero thing. Because it's like, the emotions are working, but like the logic is very flimsy at points. It's like it's very flawed, but it's like keeping me engaged super hard.
The fusion thing is cool, and it's like the ultimate realization of like up until up until now, you didn't really see Tamers fighting with their Digimon. And
Yeah.
this is like the ultimate version of that, where they just become their partner.
Yeah. Which gets fleshed out next season big time.
Uh huh.
And boy, I'm interested in where the crap that goes, because I remember some stuff, and I'm very curious about some other stuff.
I think Frontier is okay mostly, and then it kind of falls apart near the end.
Yeah. Like, how much have you seen of Frontier exactly?
I watched all of it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Alright, I
I
thought you were
think
going blind, which was gonna be super interesting.
uh no, I've seen every season up to Frontier at this point.
Alright, so
I
by
haven't
the point that we get to Data Squad, we will finally both be going in blind.
Yeah. Back when I think all the Digimon seasons were on Crunchyroll, like I just binged all of them.
All of them up to season 4.
Yeah.
Have like, what season are they on right now? Like, because now there's like Atmon's a thing, and then there's like effing X-Ross Wars and something else.
I'm pretty sure Atmon is the most recent one.
Yeah, I'll see how I feel about that when we get to it. Cause holy crap. Cause like,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to think of like, is there anything that like comes after like Data Squad, but it's before X-Ross Wars?
It's Cross Wars.
I'm gonna
Or you
keep
can
calling
call
it
it Feud.
X-Ross.
Well, that's wrong. Or you could
Because
call it
Because otherwise it
Fusions.
would be Cross Ross.
What?
Because, like, X would be
No, it's
Cross
no,
and
it's
then Ross.
no, it's just Cross. Or you can call it Digimon Fusion.
Digimon Fusions?
Like,
Okay, so it is Fusions then.
yeah, Fusion and Cross Wars are the same thing, just different names for localization.
Uh, okay, alright, yeah, that's right. So Digimon Adventure 02, Tamers, Frontier, Data Squad, Fusion, Atmon, and then the Adventure reboot.
Yeah.
Okay, so it only goes up to like season 7 basically before it gets the reboot. And like, man, we are like really trucking through these, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, what's it been? A couple of years at this point?
Yeah, it's been like a year or so. So like we could honestly go faster, but like, at the same time, like there's not a huge load of Digimon left that I'm unfamiliar with. Well, I guess like I'm unfamiliar with at least like around half of it, but still.
Yeah.
It's just weird to see this and be like, oh, that's the end point, huh? Holy crap, Fusion's 79 episodes? What? Excuse me? Well then.
I mean, Tamers has 51, so that's close.
51 is kind of a ways off from 79. I was
Only
like, oh man, we're like almost halfway there, aren't we? We're getting there. I just look over, it's like, nope.
it's only 28 episode difference. Like,
Yeah, that's like half of like effing adventure.
it's also actually no, that doesn't make sense because I was thinking like it's also Digimon moved into the era where seasons are shorter, but that doesn't make sense actually for uh, Cross Wars.
Nope. Seasons have just kept going as is.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's more story to tell that they wanted. So,
all right, what the fuck is Fusion's going to be then? Because I already was like, all right, I don't know what Atmon is, but like, I don't like what I've heard about the concept. Deus Squad, I know the general beats, I know what the main character's things are at least, but like, Anna, it's something. What is Fusion's though? Oh my gosh. Man, this series took like 2 years to finish. Jeez.
I guess it was probably pretty popular.
I guess we'll see. Like, I feel like I've heard things about Fusion that make me not want to care about it. But I guess we'll see what those are like when we get there. Because the main thing I've heard is that it's a series where it's like, oh, evolution stages don't really matter because they just kind of work around it. So they have a bunch of really dumb lore stuff.
Shoutmon, like, fuses with other Digimon.
The big thing I've heard is that it's like, oh, like one of the big holy dragons of Didida shows up, and he's one of the strongest Digimon ever, and he's like Logmon or something, and he's like actually meant to be like a huge deal, and like Shoutmon just beats him in what should be his ultimate stage.
Yeah, I don't know. All I do know is that I saw the design they gave to Fusion's version of Beelzemon, and he looks lame.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be super interesting, because a bunch of other Digimon's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Like, we might get the return of Ty or something, and he'll just show up and be like, oh hey, I'm still handsy and stuff, haha. I've learned nothing about strategy at all. Can't wait for that.
Man, the Fusion version of Beelzemon is so lame.
So back to Tamers for a moment.
Yeah. So yeah, we got to the point where Gargemon fired the missile and saved Beelzemon's life.
Yeah.
Not Beelzemon, Gallamon's life.
Yeah, Gargemon saved Beelzemon's life.
No, Jerry saves
was...
Beelzemon.
Galmon's gonna kill him, and Gargemon was like, no, take this, you devil, and he shoots Gallantmon. Yeah, Galmon's just straight up about to kill Beelzemon, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna send you back to hell. Just straight up.
Yeah, and then Jerry yells out, and Gallantmon, like, misses.
Yeah, because Jerry's just straight up like, no, I don't want anyone else to die today. Please just stop this madness. And they're like, yeah, okay.
Beelzemon's just like, why did you save me? I killed Leomon. And then of course Jerry says, even if I killed you, Leomon, it wouldn't bring Leomon back.
Yeah. So yeah, just, I don't know why I include that, just that random shot of Jerry looking like super screwed up. But yeah, like, so Jerry spares Beelzemon, and he's like, yeah, whatever, I guess I'll get you guys next time or something. And he just rides off into the sunset.
Let's see, he has a flashback. He's like,
this is the wrong image.
This time is thing that Timmon's been through up to this point, including him shooting the Kursarimon.
Yeah. Man,
heck, it even shows him killing Leomon again.
You know what's kind of disappointing? We didn't get that weird Black Wings song again. That'd be a really fun villain theme.
It would have been inappropriate for this fight.
It would have been super appropriate, but I just want them to use it for anything else.
They might use it again later.
If nothing else, when like Beelzemon comes back and like does something new, I want them to play that music because it's rocks. It's
Also,
so weird, but it's so weirdly fitting.
yeah. Also, Beelzemon doesn't ride into the sunset. He just kind of walks into the horizon, or he just kind of walks for a little bit and then starts walking in place because I guess they didn't know how to make it look like he was walking away any better.
Animation is hard.
Yeah, and then he just fades away. It does look pretty goofy.
Yeah. But yeah, at the end of it, like Takao and Gallantmon just unfuse and they get a new Digivice out of nowhere. And it's yellow this time, which means that Gallantmon is going to be a yellow card in Digimon TCG 2020 confirmed.
It is strange that his Digivice is yellow. I don't really understand why.
I think it's just because he's like, oh, he's a holy knight now.
Maybe. I
So
guess like
yeah.
gold and white is the typical color palette of holy Digimon.
Yeah, it's like that's what I got anyways. That it's like, oh yeah, this is like your true Digivice because it's like it's yellow because good and light and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, we get a scene of Rio.
Yeah,
Still there?
like
Okay. Yeah, there's a shot where Rio and Cyberdramon are just kind of hanging out in this foggy area, and Cyberdramon's just like, "All right, my enemy's nearby. Let's go." And then they walk off. That's the end of the episode.
yeah, like if they like go to the Tamers group, then that basically confirms that his enemy was Megidramon in this context, I guess. Or that at least like that's what he's searching for, I guess, maybe? I don't know, maybe he's trying to take out Deva. Cause like episode does end, it gets like wrapped up pretty neatly. And they're saying they're like, oh yeah, like why was Beelzemon a thing again? Oh right, the Devas.
Yeah. So that's basically this episode was the end of Beelzemon's villain arc.
Yeah, it's weird because he does actually have that many moments overall. Like, it really is just like 3 episodes of him really doing things, but they're really good, like, powerful episodes of him doing things.
Yeah, Beelzemon leaves an impression, whether it's going around killing hordes of Digimon or killing a significantly important character, uh, obtaining the evil motorcycle.
Yeah, I'm still disappointed that we never got that Black Wings song in the English version.
Yeah, well, it's fine because we have it. We have it now. We know about
We
it.
got now. So yeah, like, and like, any final thoughts? Because I feel like we haven't reached a very interesting conclusion here. We've just been like, oh yeah, this stuff's good, but boy, does it have some weird flaws in it.
I mean, we got caught off on so many tangents talking about stuff. I don't know. I think it did pretty well.
Yeah, I feel like there's not much else we really can talk about, because a lot of this is just like, oh, Gallantmon fights Beelzemon, and it's super cool and great, and you should check it out. Like, check out after watching the rest of the series, I guess, because then you'll have context. Then you'll be like, oh, Ipmon's, like, whole journey and stuff, and you'll be able to be hit by the full emotions of it. By being like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, Ipmon has just become the villain, and he's become this scumbag. Which, and I guess that has something to mention, that it's like, it is interesting that, like, Beelzemon's just not like a random Deva or something. This is a character we've been building up for the entire series, basically.
Yeah. it's not a spoiler. I've talked about it so many times, but I enjoy Beelzemon's like whole journey, including his redemption arc.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll see where that goes. Cause like, what's he really done that's so evil? Like, he's killed Leomon, but like, yeah, you didn't kind of understand why I did that. Cause like, I guess that's something to mention. That's something that these episodes do really like well. Cause like, every time Beelzemon's doing something, you completely get it, right?
Yeah,
Like, you understand why he's become the way he is really well. So it's like,
yeah.
people are like trying to be like, no, Itmon. And he's like, never call me that again. That's my old life. Itmon is dead.
I mean, that's like even without the other scenes, even without Beelzemon's other scenes where he does other stuff, like all he had to do was kill Leomon.
Yeah.
Because Leomon is a main character's partner at this point, and it's like, okay, that's pretty much all he had to do, because that's pretty bad already.
And unlike an adventure, there is no primary village. We can't just get a Leomon egg and raise one up from like a Gabumon or something.
I mean, even if there was a primary village, it doesn't matter because Beelzemon absorbed him.
Yeah, that's true. So even if they had that, he couldn't come back.
Yep.
Dang. Yeah, it's
And
just
that's what makes Beelzemon's done truly terrible is
yeah,
that they're like he actually killed an important character's Digimon, and there's no just reforming as an egg elsewhere. Like Leomon's
yeah.
gone.
Yeah, like, I think that's this series is doing what's like way better than what Adventure did, because like Adventure also explored like, oh hey like war and death and like like you have to keep marching on even after your friends have died and stuff and like all this loss. But Adventure there's kind of like a way out, whereas here
Yeah,
it's like no, there's no way out. Like death is permanent. If you die, you're just gone for good. Like,
this
people die when they are killed.
the stakes are real.
Yeah, and this is like the first time we've had those types of like, just super real stakes in the series. Though, like, effing like movies of like, Try included.
Yeah,
Because, like, even when Try presents stakes, they're not as real as these stakes.
yeah. All the Digimon partners got their memories back. No problem.
Hey, choose who you want to die. Are you going to pick, like, the kids who have lives ahead of them? Or this dying man who's about to fall over any moment? Oh no, blood's on your hands, Ty. You gotta make a choice.
I'm evil Genai.
I'm evil, and my plans make no sense with my motives.
Genai's just a Looney Tunes character. I don't know. It's evil Genai's the silliest thing ever.
Yeah. Just effing.
Man, we gotta watch that last Evolution movie.
Yeah, like, I don't know, should we do it in between episodes of Tamers now that, like, the arc has kind of been, like, wrapping up? Or should we
Now would
just finish Tamers and then go to it?
now would be a good time to do it since we finished this arc.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we should just do it then. Cause,
Yeah, I'll have to find somewhere to watch it.
man, this is going so weird, cause, like, originally it's like, oh, we watched through, like, Adventure and then O2, and now it's like we're watching the stuff that happens after O2. So it's like there's a continuous, like, narrative there, but then it turns out that, like, new material gets released as we do the podcast. So it's like,
Yeah,
oh, like, if you're, like, following this, then it's like, watch up through, like, O2 and then through Try, and then take like a big break for 30 episodes of Tamers, and then we'll go back to the adventure cast again.
Yeah, but the problem is that Last Evolution came out in the middle of like doing all of this.
Yeah. Just that we had no choice, guys. You have to understand.
Can't really be helped. For what it's worth, I have no idea what happens in this.
All I know is that Agumon gets a Mega.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I guess I know that is that Agumon and Gabumon get new mega forms.
And it's not a Greymon Mega. It's specifically an Agumon Mega.
Oh, that's weird.
It's super weird. And his design looks super naked.
I guess I'll see it when it happens.
Yeah, that's... I feel like we're gonna have a whole discussion on that, because, like, boy did Gabumon get out way better than Agumon did. Holy crap. So yeah, I guess, like, foul verdict on these episodes or whatever.
I like them.
Yeah, same here. Well, I guess I'll see you guys around next time for
All right.
Last Evolution and stuff. Later.